I just didn't know if I had to clean it. All right. All right. Hi, how are you, Terry? You met? Pleasure. So here's the second one. And I think the sun's there, so I think we got to take it into the sun, right?
This side.
Sorry. Which side?
That one, but we got the parking lot there.
Yeah, we got to be looking at it.
Hi.
Came to watch you chicks. Okay, lady.
Up and down or sideways? Jackie. Jackie sideways? Smile, ladies. 1, 2, 3.
Not easy, right, Jackie? Bring you down with me. Can I just go over that stuff fast? Sure. All right. I know you guys know that.
It's going to be the other one?
Yeah. I'll get Carol up first, and then I'll get you up. Okay. You got balls?
Serve from this side first, and it's going to be Joe. Got you, ball.
How's everything at ND? Good?
So, Terry.
I'm good. How are you?
Well, I think we should, right? Doesn't that make sense?
Hey, they're playing really well. Basketball team started out. I think he's good.
Yeah, just let Joe be.
Just saying.
Check that ball.
Do you mind if I warm up first?
Turn a couple of rounds.
I got one fresh ball.
What's up, spin boy?
How are you? Haven't seen you since yesterday at lunch. Constitution. Good to see you.
Playing,
Give one more ball.
yeah, I'll grab you a couple of stuff.
Sorry.
They've done it again. Johan Durant and Stephen Mitchell are the APTA national champions for the second year in a row.
There you have it, your women's APTA national champions, Florentina Harnish and Anna Maria Zabori.
Hello and welcome to the APTA's Tour Series. We are live from the Short Hills Club in Short Hills, New Jersey, bringing you the 2022 Short Hills Grand Prix, sponsored by the APTA membership, our national sponsors Viking and Paddle Pro, and local sponsors, platinum sponsor Core Private Wealth, gold sponsor Maple Crest Ford Lincoln, silver sponsor Spiro Harrison Law Firm, and bronze sponsor Club Pilates. I'm Brad Easterbrook alongside Hall of Famer Patty Hogan, bringing you women's semifinal round action against Delmonico and Gebbia.
And Shea Sutter.
Sorry, Patty.
And no worries, Brad. On the far side on the left screen, Short Hills Club member Carrie Delmonico is in the deuce court. Lauren Gebbia is the right side of the top of the screen. She's in the ad court. They are currently the number 2 team in the country, and they are playing up against Amy Shea, who you see a little bit of her out of the ad court there, and the lefty, Jolene Sutter, playing the deuce court.
All right, let's take a quick look at the draw. We are going to be using no ad scoring for all of our matches.
I'm not confident that's the case in the women's, Brad. I learned that a little while ago. The men definitely use no ad scoring. I'm not confident the women are.
Okay, so we'll find that out through our umpire, through the scoring as it goes along. And here's take a look at how they got here. You know, Shea and Sutter have a great match, good first round, beating Cran and Herschel from the Boston area. Then they take out local team of Kiro and Petrini, 6-2, 6-4. And you know, we have Delmonico and Gebbia, who are probably, in my estimation, the most improved team last year. He had a barn burner in that quarterfinal match against Morgan and Socorro, 6-4, 6-7, 6-4. So it looks to be a great match. How do you see this one, Patty?
I think it's going to be a battle, Brad. We're going to be here in 2 hours and 45 minutes later. We'll be calling the winning point. It's just, you know, amazing. We've watched Shea play a million matches over the year. No matter what, she competes in every match, as does Delmonico. Delmonico and Gebbia. I mean, they've gotten to number 2. They had a great run last season. I think this is a huge match for them. And, you know, for them to have a shot to grab a national title possibly on Long Island in March, they'd have to get through the match. And Shea and Sutter, I mean, you never say die with this team. They are a little unorthodox at times, but, you know, with Amy Shea out there anchoring this team and the rise in Jolene Sutter play over the course of the past season and a half, it's going to be a crapshoot. I think either team could take this match.
Yeah, I'd certainly call it a pick 'em as well. You know, Shea and Sutter have been a new team for like a year and a half now, I guess you would say, and they really have put the pieces together more. Last year they were learning how to compete together, and now they've had some great wins this year. Delmonico and Gebbia, like you said, they're really trying to climb the extra hump. They had a great season last year, not quite the same this year, so this is a huge matchup for them.
Yeah, Brad, Delmonico and Gebbia, you know, lost in the semis to Hanish and Sabori in Boston. You know, had a good run there. Lost semis in Westchester. They did win Long Island. They were third in the semis in Western New England. You know, there's a pattern here. They're third in the Witch, and I think for them as a team, they've got to get through this match here. Just because I think to be a serious contender to win the national championships in March, you got to hit your stride, and I think we're more than halfway through the season, and this is the time to peak, and I think we'll see a little bit of Delmonico Gebbia switching sides from the baseline, Brad. I wouldn't be surprised if Carrie Delmonico starts in the deuce court and ends up playing the ad court. I've seen her really have the ability to, with the lobbing placement and the pinpoint accuracy of her little chip, shorter swing shots, kind of managed to build points a little bit more than what I've seen out of Gebbia in the ad court. So that's why I would look for Monaco to get over there. And if she doesn't like the way things are going, she'll just take charge. And Lauren will just start following the instructions.
Sorry.
And, Carrie's the player coach out there. Always fun to watch.
Well, you bring up a good point, because teams often want to have a nice combination of skill sets. And Delmonico sort of bumps the ball up. She's probably one of the best at hitting a quick block lob. And then if you hit a little down up over, she doesn't crush it, but she'll hit it down at your feet. So she's pushing the pieces around. And Gebbia is really just the thunder. I mean, she just rips it off both sides.
Forehand, backhand. I mean, she can bring it for one of the smaller women on tour, Brad. She brings it from both sides. Shea and Sutter, they had a 5th in Boston. They went out to Elliott and Redesno there, 4-4. They were 2nd in Westchester, going out to Hanisch and Zabori. They were 2nd in Detroit, going out to Hanisch and Zabori.
Well, a lot of people have gone out to Hanisch and Zabori.
Hanisch and Zabori are undefeated. They beat Elliott Redesno in the finals of the Western New Englands. They lost to Elliott and Redesno in Chicago in the quarters. So I really do think it's what you said. It's a pick'em.
Yeah, and you'd have to say Amy Shea is probably the best women's player ever to win a national. She would
definitely be in that category,
than
Brad.
Any other player in the last 10 years, probably. I mean, she's been to the finals of nationals. She is just got a great skill set. She's got excellent serve, great forehand, great backhand, good volley. She hits a really good low overhead, places it through the middle. She's not afraid to grind, but she has a ton of offense. She hits one of the best high lobs in the game. We'll see. It's a bit breezy out there today. Other than that, it's a pretty good day to play paddle out there. It's not too sunny, but it's creeping in. You see it there on our live stream there, the sun just across the court. But it should be a great match. And Jolene Sutter does not seem to be afraid of any pressure. She seems to have gotten used to it. It's not easy playing with a player like Amy Shea, who's been playing for so many years. You have to know you're going to see a ton of balls to begin with. And she's been up to the task this year and really has made a stride forward.
Yeah, I'll be interested. I think one of the interesting things in this match will be the Sutter overhead, Brad. As a lefty, she has a tendency to want to go to that deuce court. And when you have Gebbia over on that deuce side, I think it really is going to limit what she can do. She doesn't have that much overhead variety in her game yet, Brad. I mean, she's still building confidence toward it, I think. And I think with Gebbia over there, that would be a joyful look for Lauren Gebbia. She'll get a lot of looks from Jolene. I'll be curious if Jolene can just hit some more neutral, straight-ahead shots right into Delmonico's body versus switching it over to that deuce court, which I've seen her do a decent amount this year.
Yeah, and that is going to be definitely one of the parts of the match is the ability to exploit the overheads and lob well enough so you can get your looks in the backcourt. And, well, umpire, there's still going on here. The warm-up, this is kind of a long warm-up here, Patty.
This is a long warm-up, Brad. I mean, this is a huge match at this point in the season.
I believe our umpire is Carol
Carol Everton, fellow Rutgers grad, Brad. Track star, ran track with my sister back in the day. Carol's a great umpire. She's handled lots of matches for the APTA. Does a really good job. Brad, here's the deal. I'll make my pick right now.
Oh, I like it, Patty.
I'm basing it on
line.
two things. Amy Shea wearing a knee brace, which we have not seen before, and Carrie Delmonico, being that this is her home club. These matches come down to a couple points each set. I'll give Delmonico and Gebbia the slight edge because of home club advantage, Brad.
Home club advantage.
And the knee brace.
And the knee brace on Amy Shea. All right. Well, then it behooves me to take the other side just for the interest
Totally,
of,
Brad. Let's go.
A nice little competition between us.
Put your dollar on the table, Brad. How about we bet a Reese's Peanut Butter Cup?
A Reese's Peanut Butter Cup sounds good to me, Patty. Although it might spike my sugars, get me a little punchy
we might
out here.
really be excited in the booth.
All right, so we're working our way down the tour here. The tour's been amazing this year. 16 tournaments, 4 Grand Prix and Nationals, and we're getting right to the end. This is the 7th to be live streamed of the 10 that are going to be live streamed on the season. And we're heading towards the APTA Cup. Here you see, well, the beginning of the schedule as we march our way down in there. I don't know if you can get it all the way to the bottom there, but
Birchwood's the last event before the Nationals.
yeah, Birchwood's the last event, and there's a large event. The Philly Open should be pretty big, and you got some prize money there. And then it all comes down to the APTA Cup, which is going to be awarded right now. It's to the top 4 in the men's and the women's, and the standings are pretty close. I mean, there's been a lot of turnaround here, and this is where everybody, like you were saying, is trying to reach peak form before Nationals, and they're also sort of jockeying positions for seeds. On the men's side, there was huge turnaround in Boston, and with the, I guess you have to say, Hanish Sabor having a lock on the first seed. Really, they're undefeated on the season. There's still room to jockey for position for the second and third seeds here. On the men's side, Powers and Hughes not winning Boston last week, they fell behind 3 other teams. Had they won, they would have been the second seed here,
right.
And they're the 5th seed. So things can change.
I think it makes it really fun, Brad. And, the players start off the season, and it's important to do well. And, you got to contend, you've got to play a lot of tournaments. You've got to do some travel around the country. The APTA is doing a great job live streaming as many events as possible. And, we find ourselves in Short Hills yet again. What an amazingly well-run tournament here. Kudos again to Brian Skinner and the entire group from Short Hills Club, from all the members to all the employees who make this day so welcoming. These couple of days, really, really one of the highlights on the APTA calendar.
And for anyone looking for, more information about PTI Nationals and Team Nationals between the first and the second set today, we're going to have an interview with Amin Kaduri, the CEO of the APTA, and he's going to go into those in more in-depth. And they're great events for anyone out there. The PTI Nationals, PTI-based tournaments, and Team Nationals will be a blast. You just put your team together. As long as everybody's within 15 PTI or so of each other, they're going to match you up against teams of the same equal amounts of PTI. So it'll have all the best elements of everything, Team Nationals and PTI Nationals.
No, it's a great opportunity for, every player in the game, regardless of your ability level, compete for a national title, within just 2 of you. And then as part of a team, Dave Broderick's going to run that out of Fiddler's Elbow, and they've got a great event planned for that weekend, Brad. I'm thinking, I wish we could have a mixed team, over 50 slow. I would recruit you on my team, Brad.
Patty, you've never
You'd be
asked
my
me
first
to play
pick.
one time. I'm hurt, but I am all in on the mixed 50s slow. So they're going to actually time us beforehand. You cannot be faster than – you have to run a 6 to 8 second 40-yard dash.
Yes, they should
I'm
set up
all
a
in.
course.
Totally in on that. Yeah, that's perfect. And speaking of which, you talk about players of all levels. We have it feels like everyone of every level is playing at this tournament here in Short Hills, Patty. I mean, there are how many players in the tournament?
There are 472 players who participated in one of, I think, 12 events here, Brad. It's incredible. And we're off for the semis of the women's. Looks
right,
like
so here we
Jolene Sutter to serve.
All right, here we go. And Jolene Sutter to serve.
See, that's the overhead from Sutter. If Gebby is over in that deuce court, she just smacks that ball. Delmonico, we know, is deliberate. We'll pick her
spots. Yep. And
pick her
Delmonico's
spots.
Better at hitting the ball downwards. She likes to push off the net and take a high ball, hit it down. She doesn't really hit it heavy toss. It's a pretty flat ball. got a switch here at the net from Shea and Sutter. Nope, staying.
Remember a tournament earlier this year where conventional wisdom, lefty-righties switch and get their overheads in the middle? I saw Shea and Sutter hold this pattern because they felt like they could defend the middle.
With the backhand volleys.
I don't know what that says for Delmonico's lobbing.
That's interesting. You know, it's an interesting point, and you make a great point there. So they're opting for defending the volleys in the middle, both of them with their backhand volleys, versus having to worry about, because you would think that you could exploit the middle of the court with your lob there and have them hit a lot of backhand overheads. The honest truth is, though, you know, people are getting better. That's too good a return. She ducks it like it's going out, but it's well in. Great shot there. But people have gotten better at hitting backhand overheads. So you see people hit backhand rollers now, backhand pushes. Back when you first started teaching paddle, you probably were like, never hit a backhand overhead. That's probably what you would teach people. Move around it, always hit a forehand
Sure,
overhead.
if you have a choice.
You're right. And these days, people are mixing it up more.
Well, you see Parsons in the game with the two-handed, and when he plays with Juan, it's just, I mean, he's as good with his two-handed backhand overhead as most people's forehand overhead.
Really good returns, just this lob there, 30-40. A couple of break points in the outset. Gabby rarely lobs the return. She really rips it almost every time. Oh, good move.
That's going to be the curious piece for me for Sutter. You know, controlling the volleys off the Gebbia rips on her forehand and backhand. Because she's fairly new playing against the top level in the sport. And I think, the hands play and switching her paddle kind of over on it. I think a lefty, slight disadvantage sometimes when you're on top of the net with your partner. You don't know if you should flip to your forehand or go over, extend your range on your backhand volley. And I just think sometimes, like right there, it looked like her paddle had dipped, Brad, and she didn't really absorb the pace from the Gebbia drive. So I look at that as a key point to the outcome of this match potentially.
Oh, for sure. And we saw a couple of faults there and just a couple of missed volleys, but a couple of also really, really good returns from Delmonico and Gebbia. All right, so 1-0 for Delmonico and Gebbia here.
And this is Carrie Delmonico serving. You're going to hear a lot of that. Carrie is the captain. Delmonico rules. She'll make the early call all the time, and Gebbia's really good at listening, Brad.
Shay does a really good job. See, right there, of hanging out, and when the ball comes, she's still ready. That time she missed the forehand, but you would think you're icing her out, like 10 balls in a row, not to her. Then all of a sudden you decide to get over there like she's falling asleep. She doesn't. She's always ready to rip the ball.
Well, it's what's made her into one of the top players in the women's game. She just has that discipline and maturity, and she just knows that she might not see a lot of balls for a minute, and then all of a sudden, she just always can step up when she gets that opportunity on a short ball to her forehand drive.
I think the key overhead, that's a great play there, is going to be for Sutter to be hitting that cross-court lob, actually, and looking to move them towards the wires and move Shea to the middle. I'd like to see, I think if she goes down the line and goes to, Delmonico there, she's just going to be able to push it right back straight. They're going to have to find a way to build these points.
So out of the deuce court, if she lobs the ball on a diagonal cross court, right, it's going to bring Gebbia's overhead into play. And I think you're spot on with that, Brad. So I think it's the placement of Sutter's overheads, and it's going to be the placements of her lobs because, for what we've seen over the years, Shea and Delmonico really are on demand. They can bring it. The bigger the moment gets, they don't shy away from that moment ever.
look, 40-15 though.
Brad Sutter can bring it both forehand, backhand, just like Gebbia. Is her backhand her stronger drive?
I think it is. It's close. But I do think it's her better drive. I think she'll look to even favor it some of the time in the middle of the court, but she's not afraid. You see her miss 2 forehands there in that game. That one was a little trickier drive, I have to say. All right, 2-love start here from Delmonico Gebbia. Good job.
I think this quick start for Delmonico Gebbia is key, especially for the confidence of Gebbia. You know, she seems to go up and down.
She rides some waves, Patty?
She rides some waves where Delmonico will stay pretty even-keeled throughout most matches that she participates in. And I love the early start for the Delmonico Gebbia team. I've just inched the dollar bill a little closer to my side.
You feel that your win probability is much higher
Oh
now?
my
after
Lord, after
lead?
8 minutes,
Yeah,
yes.
8-minute paddle, you're already, I don't know. I'm going to let it unfold.
Oh, you're so wise, Brad.
There you go. What's my dollar? Mental error there from Delmonico.
So we're at Shea is serving Brad 0-2 first set.
Sorry, Brad. Sorry,
We'll catch up on the scoreboard here in 1 second.
Yeah, it's 30-love in this game for Amy Shea, and they are down. Delmonico and Gebbia are up 2 games to love.
Great overhead shot, Brad. I love this.
Oh, dink and a little follow-in blitz, and she catches Shea sort of just drifting back. 1 step forward, she could have caught the ball a little higher and maybe made an offensive choice, but good little dink. See if we can get some updates on our other semifinal as well, Patty, as we go throughout the day. We got our undefeated team of Hanish and Zubori, riding just an amazing, a perfect season so far against Curtis and Andrakova. Great result for them. And do we know if that's a team for nationals right now, Curtis and Andrakova?
I don't know, Brad.
All right.
I've not gotten any intel on that yet.
Patty, you're always in the know. Come on.
Let me go ask them.
Well, I need to hear with me right now. But.
All right, I'll stay.
All right, so we got Shea and Sutter finally on the board. Good job by them. It feels so different. It's like you're a little tight, and then it sort of melts a little bit now. You know, you get your first game underway, and now it seems like the match can start for you. All right, so 2-1.
Another key to this match is Gebbia's serve, how it will hold up, Brad. Well, she goes sidearm, underarm, whatever you call it, overhand. That's a vulnerable spot a little bit at times.
There you go, right there. It just, right as you said it, Patty, it's a great point. The underhand serve is a viable thing, but you got to really have the confidence in releasing the racket head and really rolling it in there. And I'm not sure, I mean, she's just putting it in the box like that. I don't really see it staying back a reason to hit it unless you're going to hit it with a little more spin. Because the idea is to hit it so it stays lower, right? And that's still just popping up. So it's probably still a work in progress, as you were mentioning. That's hanging high.
Yeah, that was really close.
And now they're getting grips. Oh, good hands up there from the girls. Great job from Delmonico and Gebbia. Just they dealt with the onslaught there.
But I just think for them to pull through and me win that dollar, Brad, Delmonico Gebbia, it's about every 4 games, Gebbia is going to have to be able to, you know, they're going to have to feel confidently that they can go forward and hold serve here. It's just been a little bit of a vulnerable thing for their team this season. But I think, you know, they're playing more, Brad, and getting in some practice time. And, you know, to beat the best players, you've got to put that time in on the court. And I think Delmonico Gebbia, you know, committed to that second half of the season more than they were able to do so in the first half of the season.
Yeah, I think, you can see some patterns that are going to be a big deal. That was a tough shot, little turnaround backhand, the ball got low. Patterns right now, this service game is going to be huge for Sancho. They're going to want to get this break here. I mean, obviously you want to get all the games, but this is a really good opportunity serve-wise. They've been on offense this entire game. And then the other thing I've seen right now so far is Sutter's missed her last 4 forehands or so. She's going to have to dial that in a little bit.
Well, I was asking you earlier about what she favors, her forehand or backhand drive, because I do feel the same, that she'll unleash her backhand drive and just seems to hit it with much more confidence.
It's much more consistent. It's definitely her favorite shot. Second hand coming over the ball right now with that forehand she's hit. She's kind of been late or not been able to get over the top of the first few that she's taken strikes at, but she keeps going for it. I like the confidence at least. It's still early in the match. It's not like these points, you need to get your shots in order in a match like this.
So we're at 2-all, first set. Jolene Sutter serving. Easy for me to say. And I just don't think that, I think Delmonico Gebbia have to be more disciplined when they're playing those games and they feel like they're a little vulnerable on the Gebbia serve. They still have to play the rest of the game, and make smart choices. Sometimes those games just go way too fast for them, I've noticed.
Yeah, sometimes as a coach, and you're one of the all-time best, Patty, you feel like a parent, and make good choices. I want you to
That's
make
right.
good choices
Get
out
home
there.
before 10.
Right.
Avoid
Don't drive that
boy.
ball. Right. Don't hit the ball there.
Hey, Brad, when I'm not involved, I listen at home. I listen to your analysis. You're one of the greatest coaches out there, and you spot things on a dime. And I love your insights to, really inform everyone watching from home, giving them a great understanding of what's going on tactically.
Got a little conference here from Shea and Sutter. Now, were you mentioning before you went to school with the umpire
I
today?
did. I went to school with the umpire.
Oh, okay.
She laid down the ground rules then and now.
How about that?
Rutgers alum. Keller Everton plays out of Montclair Golf Club. Big fan of Nicky Erdoya and Flor Hanisch over there, the pros at Montclair.
Great shot, and that was what they were talking about, Shea and Sutter, how they were going to play that point. That time Sutter stayed back on the return, and Shea stayed in. She was counting on Sutter hitting the drive. She does. They hit a weak ball, and they capitalize. And what a volley there, and that's one of the keys that you were mentioning. If she can handle that, because that was a good blitz play. They get what they wanted, but Gebbia, I have to assume, thought that was going out, Patty.
And I love the tactics with Sutter Shea. You don't always have to run in after your serve. You can leave your partner up there. And I think that would be an interesting thing for Gebbia to remember on her serve at times, Brad, as well. I'm a huge fan of different formations, where if you have a vulnerability in a match or in a situation, figure out a way to offset it and induce the other team to hit other shots than the ones you're struggling with.
All right, so it's deuce. We're going to find out here if they're playing ad or no ad.
Yeah, I believe the men are no ad. I don't think the women are.
All right, so we'll know in 1 second.
And even though they're both APTA tournaments, the recommendations come from the Players Committee about the scoring formats.
Gebbia whacks it over and tattoos Shea from behind, knocks the paddle out of her hand. So it is ad scoring here, and we're going to be going. It's game point here, and a great turnaround for Shea and Sutter, losing those first 2 games, keeping their heads about them, and now they're getting good strategy. Last time they played this same format, and Gebbia decided not to go down the line. She just tattooed it right at Amy Shea at the net. Nope, they're going to. What do they do? Okay. She gives her a signal as to whether she's going or staying. Let's see if She's coming in. Here she comes.
Yeah, knee brace. She's staying, Brad.
You know, she's a wily veteran. She might just be wearing it, you know, just to throw you off, to make her feel like, you know, she's weak. But
Well, you
she's
came
really
in with the
strong.
air cast on your ankle, Brad.
It's right. Well, that's so nobody asked me to play any tournaments or anything. I walk around with as many casts as possible. The worst experiment is when I take it off, they still won't ask me. Amy Shea was really hitting that low overhead way before it was in vogue in the women's game. She'll let it drop, shoot right through there.
Yeah,
One
I
timer.
mean, Shea is one of the tallest players I've ever seen who doesn't hit a lot of double screens into that ad court corner.
Nope, she's dropping it low, going for the benefit of if you never hit the ball where it bounces up. I mean, there's one that bounces up, then your opponents can't drive it down.
Right, that gave Delmonico exactly the shot that she loves, Brad, that high ball that she can hit down on.
Yeah, she did there. Great job getting it back to deuce. And Shea actually went for an offensive cross-court volley there instead of just blocking it back. Took a risk, but can't come up with it.
There we go. Side back screen, Brad.
There it is, and lob long. And I think that's the play. I would definitely, look, you definitely don't want to give Gebbia any easily drivable ball. She just really rips it. But if you get her moving, she can be apt to make a poor choice, or she'll try to drive on the move, and you can force that error. So I think a good combination of side backs and bad back sides over there could really work to your advantage.
It's a lot of chatter going on here, Brad, early in the match for Amy Shea to not move on this volley.
And that's long. She crushed it. You can hear the thunder off the paddle, and then you hear the scream as it's called out. So 3 games in a row for Delmonico, for Shea and Sutter, taking the 3-2 lead.
And that's when we talked about momentum swings, Brad, and just players' ability to ride the waves, and how, like Gebbia in particular, sort of tends to have dips and highs and lows a little bit. And right there, you know, she missed a return game point. It hurt. She was disappointed. And you kind of feel her frustration a little bit. I think she's got to.
She missed the lob before that on that, so it's the last 2 points.
Right, and that's somehow that's where she can, if she can be more even-keeled and not respond to it. You and I know you're going to miss some shots in this game, and then you just move forward.
There's 3 really good forehands from Sutter there. She really brought the head of the paddle over the ball there. Nice topspin, good snap. Missed her first few. Wow, what a spot return from Shea.
That was a great return, Brad. I have to push the dollar a little more your way again. It's just right here. You feel
Win
like
probability. It's always right there, point to point.
just a couple errors coming from Gebbia right here, right now. This is huge right now in this match.
Oh, you're absolutely right. It's been a little shift. And we also had a couple of early errors from Shea and Sutter. She missed a couple of volleys. And now it's sort of changed. And strangely enough, we've seen like 6 or 7 conferences from Shea and Sutter, but none from Gebbia and Delmonico. They're just going next point, next point.
I mean, the thing we've seen about Shea and Sutter is
Wow.
they're just relentless, Brad, and they're, you know, Sutter, what she lacks in experience makes up for it in her competitiveness. I feel like she's relentless out here as a player. And I feel like she just takes things in stride. And
Talking about Sutter?
Yeah, Sutter as a player,
Yeah.
because she's just not played at this high level for very long.
Not long, but it's a real trial by fire. She's been thrown into the fire, and she's dealing with it great. She's got some moxie. You know, she's not afraid to go after it. right, here we go. Nice shot.
Hey, Brad, upcoming
here.
in Jersey, March 5th, Junior Nationals, and I'd like to thank Viking APTA. We've got sponsorship from Clark Trophies. We got sponsorship from New Jersey Women's Flex League, New Jersey Women's League, New Jersey Men League. And speaking of the Men's League, I'm going to give Rob Scanoni, the head of the Men's League, my headset for a couple minutes, Brad. Don't let him do any analysis.
Oh, please. The only analysis I'll ask from Rob Scanoni is on his golf game. But we don't have that much time. So, we're going to talk to him about the Jersey League here. So, Rob, thanks for joining us out here. Doing yeoman's work running this New Jersey League out here. It's got the League Classic and rabid paddle fans out. So welcome to the booth, and tell us a bit about the Jersey League.
Well, it's great to be here, and it's an honor to be able to support the ladies and be out here, especially to sponsor the juniors. We're very happy to be able to do so. New Jersey Paddle is just, as you can see from today, it's fantastic. Lots of people, a lot of energy, and of course, great weather here. So we're happy to be here.
So you had something to do with the weather? Is that?
We run everything in New Jersey.
You run everything?
Yeah, absolutely.
Everything
We don't mess around.
Perfect. I love it. It is a beautiful day, and you got all levels playing out here. Like we were talking about before, over 400 players out here. I think there's 9 different tournaments here at the Short Hills. There's a Grand Prix and Open and Elite tournament. So just incredible.
There's so much energy in paddle in New Jersey. It's incredible. We're just like the rest of the country where paddle is growing. We've definitely seen it here. In our league, the men's league, we've had about 1,000 players a couple of years ago. Registered this year, we have 1,800. Just huge growth, lots of energy, and just happy to be part of it and hopefully not getting in the way.
Well, you're definitely not getting in the way if you're growing it from 1,000 to 1,800. And in fact, that's amazing numbers, and it is just a great crew and incredible pros out here as well. All of them in the tournament. Some of the semifinals, you got Ardoya, Burish, Drew Broderick.
Did really well.
Yeah. So it's just an incredible crew out here with the pros and all the volunteers. And, I know you're not doing this yourself, so I'm sure you have a list of people to thank.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for bringing that up. Our League Classic is our premier event. It's sort of a little warm-up for the Short Hills Classic. We had 176 teams involved in that, and that's a huge effort by the entire board. We built on the great foundation that Jimmy Irwin did, running the league for 10 years. Just an unbelievable job. He is a huge supporter of paddle. I'm so happy to build on what he has done, and just really happy about it. On our board, Blake Anderson really helped us tremendously in running the tournament. Andrew Haynes, technology. Just a note about that, the players here today with all these draws, ooh, what a shot. The players here today, once they finish a match, they get a text where their next match is going to be. And that's technology that's been driven by the New Jersey men. Andrew Haynes and his team developed that, and I'm so happy the APTA is using that because it's a great resource.
Well, that's great. Well, Rob, it's a pleasure having you out here. Thanks for talking about the New Jersey League, and thanks for all your great work because, in a sport like this, the volunteers do so much of the work. It all filters down from the pros to the players to the volunteers, and it really is one of the best communities out here, and we appreciate everything you're doing. And, for saying all these nice things about you, I expect an invite for some golf this year at, Canoebrook or one of the 6 clubs you're at
That
these
sounds
days.
great, Brett. Look forward to it. And thank you to you and Patty for having me on, and good luck for the rest of this tournament.
It's a pleasure. Thanks, Rob Scanoni, League, New Jersey League Chairman. Appreciate all your efforts. All right, so Patty, welcome back here, and Shea and Sutter just
What
on
just
a
happened,
roll.
Brad?
Well, I mean, to me, it's been just a real change in. They fought through a couple of early round where, like we said before, Sutter missed her first 4 hands, but she found her rhythm. She hasn't missed it yet. They made some adjustment on service games, and we still haven't seen a conference yet for, Gebbia and Delmonico. They're just sort of playing. But Shea and Sutter are making adjustments, and their game has raised. And on the flip side, what their adjustments have done is, created some more errors out of Delmonico and Gebbia. Here you see a switch in, the deuce court. We haven't seen the switch. You said you might have wanted to see that, but
I thought we would see it, Brett, and I fully expect if they lose the first set that Delmonico will start in the ad court in the second set.
Yeah, there, that serve, she's got to, I think it's hanging too high to come in behind.
I think she should just stay back, Brad. They have nothing to gain.
Well, it's 100%. I agree with you, and there you go. And that's the first set, actually, for Shea and Sutter. So that's 6-2. Good job for them. 6 games in a row. And I tell you, they're moving almost too fast here. If I'm Delmonico Gebbia, I'd be like, all right, that just was like, weren't we up 2-0? Right? Like, it seems like it's only 15 minutes ago, right? And I would take a moment.
Hey, they need a couple moments, Brad. I mean, literally, you talked to Rob for a couple minutes, and all of a sudden, 3 games passed.
Right.
In the same amount of time that the first, 4 took.
And here you see the switch in the backcourt that you were talking about, Patty. So in the first set, we had Delmonico in the deuce court and returning from that side, and Gebbia in the ad. And now we're seeing it the opposite way. So they're switching up their sides, and we'll see what difference it makes. But they're not lobbing them off the net yet when they're taking the drives. They're making drives, but you see Shea and Sutter, they're just right there. You got to work them back. That's a decent lob, and they get in there.
See, I would expect that when Delmonico goes to the ad court, I instantly will see that lobbing up the line, and definitely against the lefty-righty team of Sutter and Shea. I think that's a phenomenal play for Delmonico and Gebbia. So I was not surprised by the switch, because Gary Delmonico told me they were going to switch if they didn't start off well.
Well, that's one way to not be surprised when she actually tells you, right, this is what's going to happen.
Yeah, I had insider intel there.
But do you think that first set was 6-2 just because of the sides they were playing?
No.
I mean, so it's like they're changing now, but they're going to have to change overall. But, I mean, Delmonico just thumped that return. That was huge.
Yeah, Gebbia's return, and that's what I'm saying. I love her return out of that deuce court, Brad, forehand or backhand. And I love that she can, take advantage of the Sutter lefty overhead that tends to go that way, where Delmonico doesn't pounce on that ball, doesn't take advantage of it. So that's why against this matchup, I like them building points more to try to break down Shea and Sutter, because I just think Delmonico is masterful at spotting her shots to keep building the points. I think she can create a lot of offensive looks for Gebbia.
Has to start lobbing a little better, I think. Look at this. Sutter just reading that, but what a move.
Oh, great hands and low volleys.
Sutter with all the answers. Those were good barrage there from Gebbia.
Brett, it's a little breezy today at Short Hills Club, and it's much warmer than the players have been playing in for the last 2 months. And can you talk a little bit about how that might be impacting the lobs from Delmonico and Gebbia and all the players?
Yeah, I think it's a great point. Nobody's played in this kind of weather. It was 55. It's probably on court at least, it's high 50s or something like that, and it's just gotten a little windy. So it's a total different ball of wax out here. You really have to be careful, and because if you hit your lobs forward at all today, you're going to push the balls long, and the wind's going to catch you. You need to get them a little bit on one side of the court where the wind is, and you can start going a little lower, but it's more about just focusing on getting it up there. You don't have to worry also. You should be able to get screen drives eventually. It should be very hard for your opponents to put it away. Do you think the warm weather favors any of these teams? Or?
I hadn't really thought about if it favors anyone. But Sutter just showed me something, Brad. When she got the lobs from Delmonico, she just put the ball back straight ahead with she kind of let the ball drop a little bit on her overhead. And I think that's huge, and that makes me inch the dollar more your way, because I haven't seen her do that in the past. I've seen her throw it cross court, which sets up the Gebbia forehand. And right now, they're really focused in on Delmonico, because she's much more of someone who will string, shots to each other. Like, she's going to build the point almost to a fault at times, Gebbia's going to like pull the trigger quickly. And I think Shane Sutter feel totally confident defending Gebbia right now. I mean, Delmonico out of the ad court, sorry.
Yeah, and they're getting her to drive more balls on their terms. She's not hitting them high to low after moving them off the net, which is sort of the number one combo she wants. She even likes to blitz and move forward a bunch. You know, if she can do that, and it's Deuce here, it works for her. But they're getting her to drive balls sort of waist high, and they're making the volleys. And then eventually usually forcing the error. Right now, though, it's a tight game here, so we're Deuce. And I like how Delmonico and Gebbia, you can see them fighting. There's no hangdog out there. They're plugging away. Just rips. Just what a volley. But they're rips from a waist-high position, again, with two players right at the net. So you can't say it was a bad drive, Patty.
Correct.
She ripped it, but player right on the net, you run the risk of her volleying behind you. And Shea does. Got great hands.
And I think when you drive and you pull the trigger, you can't just drive hard right at someone. You've got to move the shot, you know, off a righty's right hip possibly, you know, or the lefty's left hip or left side of their body to create an awkward shot. And, you know, Gebbia just pulled the trigger and just hit straight at him, and they defended it beautifully.
Yeah, it was a great shot.
I think Sutter's doing a great job handling the volleys. Really another area of improvement for her.
I think she's doing a really, really good job. And not only just defending it, but reading when to be moving up and in and when to be pushing herself off the net. Yeah, she's playing real well. Her game is upped dramatically from those first couple of games. Wow, that's a tough shot. And they fly that one. Really, really good defense at the net. They turn that game around from game points down. Good fight from Delmonico and Gebbia, but Shea and Sutter with all the answers right now.
Yeah, Brad. You know, I'd like to expand on a point you just talked about, how Sutter's doing a great job reading the play, and she's really, you know, talk about that positioning. We know that you have to shift and paddle side to side, but a lot of times players aren't aware of the coverage and the footwork that players anticipate what's going to happen next the moment they hit the ball or their partner hits the ball from the net. And can you talk about, like, bringing your opponents in your field of vision when you're about to hit?
Yeah,
that awareness?
That awareness is actually crucial to being a good paddle player. You know, beginners often stand 1 inch from the net, and because everybody they're playing is driving every second or third ball, or they can't control their lobs, you know, and so it works to stand there. And then they play a little bit better player who may not even have a lot of offense, who can just lob the ball consistently behind the service line, and you know, they're getting burned. The ball's always bouncing behind them. The key is ultimately, first of all, when you're at the net, hitting a shot where you can anticipate if your opponents are going to drive or not, and you can see it come. When they're getting ready to drive, you get ready to close it off. When you know they're on their heels and backing up, and if you hit the right shot, you're going to move yourself back in the box. And most of the time, you know, good paddle players always have one player ready to cut a ball off and another player a little bit off. You know, there's usually a staggered position out there.
We've had an update from Jackie Cameron, who's running the show here for the APTA. Hanish Zabori won the first set 6-3 over Curtis and Andreeva.
So 6-3, Hanish Zabori just keep marching on. They are just so tough in every facet of the game, Patty. You know, they're even, they compete hard the whole. You got the firepower, Zabori. You got this complete package in Hanish doing every shot in the game. But I wonder, you know, would you rather lose a match before nationals or go into it undefeated? It's great to be having a completely undefeated season, but don't you feel like it kind of almost builds pressure to a degree?
Normally, I would say yes, but, you know, they won nationals last year. They handled the pressure. They came through. An incredible match, 7-5 win in the third set over Cruz and Nicolescu. So
yeah,
I was talking about this with Cindy Prendergast, my former partner, trillion years ago, like 90 years ago. We had an undefeated season. And I remember we almost got bounced in the 16s of nationals, and
Wow.
we felt incredible pressure at that point. You know, we were building momentum through the season, gaining a lot of confidence, and then we felt so much pressure we could hardly hit the ball. I admit it. We were both just choking up a storm, and then we just sort of, you know,
Yeah, you
erased
gutted your
the
way through that, and then somehow it lifted, or
it got through, and then it felt it just felt like no pressure at that point. You know, then it was okay. We're here. We're coming up against, you know, the other top 3 teams in the country. You get through, but it definitely was the hardest match of the year for us to win.
that's a great volley. Oh, a little long. I thought she pulled it off, but what a return from Shea.
Brad, I'm going to go back into your brain. Think back. Men's play, undefeated season. Drew Broderick and
I have to go
was
with
it
I have
Gambino or Omuller?
Drew Broderick and Olmoller, certainly not. I think Drew Broderick had to be Palmer, right? If they had not
Wasn't
defeated
Palmer.
season, wasn't?
I think the undefeated season was Drew Broderick.
Yeah, but Drew
And
Broderick, when he won the
Gambino, I
Nationals with Gambino, they didn't play the whole season together. They kind of got together. You know, I'm not really sure.
Well, then maybe it was Davo. No, it wasn't Davo and Chris.
They weren't. They never played together.
Was it Davo and Chris? I'm going to have to
Oh,
look it up.
that could be.
You know, that
Olmoller and
could be.
Gambino certainly could have had an undefeated season from start to finish for sure.
Yeah, they
absolutely.
played the whole season. Great point,
Yes,
Brad.
you're mixing too many players
Oh.
on me.
I just got lost there. I'm back, Brad.
Oh wow.
Help me, get there.
You saw Gebbia really use her legs, Brad. Let that ball drop. She's kind of brought that overhead into play in the last season. Little cutter.
Great leave there by Gebbia, low ball, and Shea unloads on it. Very hard to hit that low ball and keep it in. So, good leave, smart play.
You know, Delmonico's plan to switch over that ad court to control play hasn't really worked yet, Brad.
Hasn't worked yet. They're not controlling play at this point. You know, that's a good shot. Nice blitz. Drop shot. She's there easily, though. And, you know, she's hit 2 drops. The one before was a really good look, and she missed him. The drop is definitely a play that Delmonico has and uses, but doesn't execute those. And we talked about the weather before. It's 55 degrees out there. If you don't execute a drop perfectly today, that's what happens. See, Sutter just runs up, cracks it at them, and they get the point.
Brad, I think you were onto something, that the knee brace that Amy Shea is wearing is just for show.
Just for
she
show.
was messing with us.
She's definitely messing with you. She had you thinking about it.
Hey,
But that knee brace. How could I have lost to somebody with a knee brace? Well, I've lost to plenty of people with knee braces, Patty. It can happen. Trust me.
oh, yeah. How impressive has the Sutter's play been, Brad? She's rock solid. I always would expect Shea, no matter what, to be rock solid. Really impressed by Sutter so far in this match.
No, she's really picked it up. Look at that. Great stuff. And from the first 2 games, I don't think she's missed a ball
I mean,
in the last 8, 6, 7 games.
They haven't lost a game in how many minutes? So there we
Great
go.
little shot, goes with the dinks, finally finds their feet and got him to make an error. Tough little shot, using her finesse there, Delmonico. She'll hit more dink drives than almost anyone on the tour, probably, on the women's tour.
I think you're right, Brad, about that. She's a
Ball
dinker.
dinks. And look at that cross. Well done, Sutter. I couldn't tell if she didn't give her a signal, so she just went on her own there. Perfect cross, and she tags Delmonico, who's blitzing in.
Yeah, good instincts.
Yep.
Curtis Andreikova up in the second set of their match against Hannah Zabori, 2-1. They lost. Hannah Zabori won that first set. You know, Brad, I thought the it factor would go to the Short Hills membership here cheering on
Oh,
Delmonico
wow.
and Gebbia and see if they can't, like, bring them some energy here.
Well, there you heard it in the background. There just haven't been quite enough of that yet from Delmonico Gebbia. They got the cheers, but heck of a play there and a great blitz from Gebbia. So we got a break point here. This is big.
This is gigantic, I think.
And this is the area they've just done a better job. They're not getting these blitz points. They're trying to race in, but Sutter's close enough to the net. She's not popping it up, and then she just handcuffs Delmonico there.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm going to blame Lauren Gebbia on that. Again, she hit Sutter's sweet spot on her backhand volley. She had the middle. There was a little open space between the lefty and the righty. I think that would have set up Delmonico to actually be able to handle the next shot. But she put it on Sutter's sweet spot, and she just stuck the volley.
I think there was some confusion there between Shea and Sutter. I don't know if she thought she was crossing, or I don't know if it was the Delmonico blitz, but another break point here. We do have some chime in from Scott Kaler. Thank you, Scott. Broderick and Palmer, undefeated season in 2015-16.
And going back, Graham said that too, but I think there was another time. I'm going Gambino O'Muller.
All right. Put another $1 on the table. Let's do it. I'm going to count on your fuzzy memory, Patty, to make me money today.
Brad, I got to go to the ATM.
you bet. Yeah, don't be Welshing. You better.
I'll be right back.
You better get me that money. I like Delmonico. She's taken some different tactics here, using softer drives. She was trying to hit hard ones. Now she's hitting a ton of probing drives, just sort of working them a little. Dinks, pushes.
Well, that's vintage Delmonico right there.
Yeah, but it's also the way she's trying to figure out something new to do. Before she was trying to really attack hard, low, but they were all over the net. You know, these drives, they're kind of like annoying. You know, instead of being the hard pace, it's almost after 5 or 6 of them, you kind of get mentally a little less involved. You might find yourself a little off the net. You know, she hasn't tried to hit a hard drive in a long time here. Good look, that's getting ripped. Great volley.
She really didn't have anything up the line. Sutter was right there. She regrets her shot as well. And there's just no winner to be had with her on a drive in that spot. She just got to continue, like you say, the probing kind of drives. Just let her hit the volley, pull her in. Maybe it opens up the court for a lob to follow.
Well, the one thing that I've noticed is they don't seem to be able to gain any traction. You know, the typical setup of a point is using the lob to set up the backcourt offense. I don't think they've gained any traction from lob to drive, right? They've either won points through blitzing, really mostly through blitzing, you know, like here's another blitz, a little dink and blitz, and there's a blitz, right? And this is where they're getting their points, but not so much from just like sort of controlling the lob, pushing them out of position, and then finding that spot. But the blitzing is working for them from time to time.
And I think that's because of the disciplined play on the overheads from Shea and Sutter, and particularly Sutter in this match. They're just not giving them any, they're not giving Gebbia in particular any really good, clean looks.
And when she's taken it, they've been there to volley.
Yep. And to your point, they know that Gebbia is not going to pass it up. They have to defend the drive coming from her. They don't worry as much about the lob.
That. Doesn't read the backside there. Little cut from Shea. Great ball. All right, back to deuce. I wouldn't say it's a must-win game for Delmonico Gebbia, but they're putting all this energy into it. And as we always talk about the long, are you one of these people who believes that the longer a game goes, the more significance it has, kind of, if you don't win it?
No, but I think if you've lost 8 games in a row,
it's
the
starting to
ninth
become
becomes
significant
really
regardless.
significant.
Right? Yeah, the difference between 8 and 9 is just pretty
massive. Brad.
Right. Yeah. All right. Well, they benefit from a fault there. This is about their 4th break point in this game. Oh,
But I like the spot, Gebbia, going up the middle between the lefty and the righty.
Well, it was good because they, Sutter switched the play with a cross-court volley, and they hadn't shifted into position, so she would have had him reaching for that volley, but got to execute, so back to deuce.
Brad, I'm searching through my bag for more money.
Well, I'm about to retire.
Totally. Bet with me, I can make you a winner. Great crowd at Short Hills, Brad. Festive environment. They got the fire pits going. They got the kegs going. If you're anywhere in the Short Hills area, come on over. Everyone's welcome.
That is a great get from Amy Shea there with her fake knee brace.
Oh, it's the knee brace.
Oh, wow.
That's part of her pants. It's part of the outfit, Brad. Wouldn't that be a great line of clothing for paddle? Long sleeve T-shirts with elbow guards, wristbands.
Little visual here. Amy Shea's she's so dialed in all the time.
I think she just winked at you, Brad.
Hey, Amy. All right, but now great play there, and then you saw the switch of the volley. That volley cross court. The old adage is a volley generally wants to go straight and deep, right? When she switched it cross court, Shea took the drive up the line, and Gebbia volleys it cross court, and then it goes right to Sutter's forehand, and they drive it before they can shift into position. It's so crucial to place the balls where you can, where you can still be in position to volley the next one. That cross really useful. Great job. What a tricky lob. Vintage Delmonico there. Just gonna hit it. Good leave. She knows she's got to roll it. It's not ball lower than the net. Not easy to make.
Yeah, she's got to take a little pace off that ball probably. I like that she hit the drive. Might have been a wonderful time to pick an opponent on the other side and pummel the right side of their body.
Ball to get up and down over the net from that close, but back to deuce. This game is battle.
Shout out to Alicia Klein from Chatham, player out of Canoebrook. She just heard that the kegs are flowing. She's headed over, Brad.
She's coming over. She's accepted your invitation, Patty. Very
Personal
nice.
invite for my cocktail party later.
There you go.
We're hosting, Brad.
I believe I got that invite, but.
Oh, they just said, they told me to invite you.
Oh, did they? All right, nice. All right. That's a great cutoff again and again in just a really good position at the net to put that ball away. They're doing such a good job closing off these spots. And there you have an offensive opportunity for Gebbia and Delmonico, but it gets volleyed back for a winner. So, and just another game just playing so tough out there.
Shout out to Deb Chelson, Dave Chelson up in York, Maine. Deb Chelson has put in thought that maybe Goodspeed and Manzinger may have had an undefeated season.
I mean, it's certainly possible. I can, I'm thinking there might have been one for Gambino Muller. Was there one from Parsons and Durant? I think there might have been one from Parsons and Durant prior to that. I believe they went wire to wire for almost 2 years. They didn't lose a match just about until Broderick Palmer started actually getting over the hump there. And then, but I'll have to go back into the annals, check it out.
Great shot. You can see the other women's semis, Brad, on the other court. Kurgerson and Andreikova. You see the back of them playing Zabor and Hanish in front of lots of appreciative paddle fans here at Short Hills in New Jersey. Shout out to the one and only Mark Bliss, longtime APTA umpire, member of Short Hills Club, helped out with every tournament, I believe, since the turn of the century.
This is going to be a work in progress for Gebbia here. She's going to have to really work this out from nationals. This underhand serve right now, I don't see the effectiveness of it. I think it's going to have to be, continue because they're just teeing it up. They get a miss there.
She's the only one I've seen who goes sidearm, and you think it's going to go like her rolling topspin drive, Brad, but then she goes and brings the cut into the serve.
Like a little rolling bunt.
But I like that she just stayed back. I think it just
Well,
gets
yeah.
them into the point.
I think that's the play. I think it really is a good look for the backcourt team. There's a nice drive.
I just don't think you're going to beat one of the top teams in the country if you throw a fault in on your serving game. I mean, we all know serving's the most difficult thing. You only get one. There's a lot of pressure. That's the shot that seems to come and go if people run into like an error time in their game. They just, it's the waves that paddle players have to face. And then they have to settle in on something that they're confident about.
Oh, great ball there. Deuce. That's a big-time shot there from Delmonico.
She made a good adjustment and took something off that shot, shortened her swing, and that's what she has the ability to do. That's her strength as a player. She can shorten up her swings.
Another fault there. Another break point here from Shea and Sutter.
And my point is I would pull Delmonico back, Brad, because then it doesn't matter what serve Gebbia throws in the box.
Right.
But again, you just can't afford a fault or two at these key points in matches. But they've been here. They've played a million matches. And it can change. It can change on a dime.
Digging the vintage Kiss T-shirt from Delmonico. Old school.
Yeah, she's got
cool.
the hairstyle, Brad.
Oh, just back screens it into the snowboard with that drive. I don't know what
She hit anybody?
No, she didn't hit anybody, but I think Delmonico is saying she's saying something while they're hitting it. I'm not sure.
How does Delmonico know that? She
well,
doesn't
no,
hear
she's
very
saying
well,
she,
Brad.
I don't really know. I think she's saying, like, she's going, move, like when
okay.
they're hitting the ball or something like that. Not that she, and it's, look, I can't claim to have heard it, but that's what I'm guessing.
Thank you for your guess. I didn't mean to put you in a corner with that question.
Oh, she's saying, I got Mark Fischel, thank you. He's saying that she thought it might have hit Sutter's paddle on the way around, and Sutter said it didn't. So.
All right, Amy Shea missed.
Yeah, but that's really been the difference in the match. They've thrown in so few of those just random errors. All right, so break point here.
Again, I think Sutter's handling the first volleys really, she started off a little shaky on her first serving game, and from there she's been rock solid on that volley.
Rock solid. Two-handed volley. It's a little unorthodox in its style. It's kind of like the head's a little down, but she got both hands on it. She gets her body behind it, and she's doing great. Awesome job.
Again, and her lefty overhead, just pushing this ball straight toward Delmonico. It's been a wonderful way to freeze Gebbia out of the match and really not giving her anything easy to hit.
I don't know what just happened there.
Carol Everton, our umpire, all over it. Whatever it was, she...
Yeah, but was the ball called out and then overruled? We need to up the, get a little more...
Yeah, I'm not sure, Brad.
Volume on the umpire mic.
Okay, I like this.
Great shot there.
That's what Gebbia has to do. It's like 1-2 consecutive shots, not trying for all or nothing. But I love how she set herself up. Shea hit it right back to her, and shot number 2, she went off the left side of the lefty, Sutter up there, and forced a volley error. That's what Gebbia needs to do to turn this match around. I love that middle on the lefty-righty, Brad.
I tell you, it's so interesting. They up the mics there, and there's such, you were talking about the crowd before, there's such an ambient crowd noise out there, everybody all over the place. It's just amazing. I think the festive atmosphere at Short Hills is really, truly
we may have to turn the umpire's mic back down. We hear all that ambient sound now. All right, I'm saying this game, Delmonico Gebbia, they get it, they're in this match. If they don't get it, there's a lot of work to lose this game at this point.
Well, there've been all these moments in the match right now, and so far, you know, you can't say Delmonico Gebbia haven't had great points. They've had a ton. You know, it's just overall they're just playing a more solid Shea Sutter. They have more answers at the net, and unless they're getting the blitz in the middle of the point, they got no answer to win a point, and they're not giving them any freebies. They're just giving us so few freebies by comparison.
All right, Brad, I know what Delmonico has to do. I think she's got to lob. She's got to lob it. She's lobbing up the line to Sutter. I think she's got to blitz. I think she's just got to start speeding up Sutter again, because I feel like Sutter, you know, she was the it factor for me in this match. How she would handle this, she's done beautifully. And, you know, sometimes just causing a little bit of havoc on the court can take a player out of their tempo. And I would love to just see Delmonico make a move in, and if the ball comes right at her, who cares? Just get out of the way and let Gebbia cover it off the back screen.
Another great first volley. I mean, it's a good return and a good blitz, but right there, another good volley. Just really tough playing, and there's... Ooh, Shea.
Would you have hit a drop shot there, Brad?
I mean, it was a great ball to drop, but she was racing in so fast to do it. I don't think she thought she was balanced enough. She thought she had a chance at the swinging volley, obviously.
Brad, we have incredible action coming up after this match. Men's semifinals. Whoa. We have a doozy on our hands, potentially. I mean, both matches are going to be incredible.
Yeah, men's semifinals. And
oh, boy.
Women's finals, then the men's finals, just back-to-back-to-back action. We'll probably be live streaming till about 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock tonight, I would guess, Patty.
And we'll be showing one of the men's semis, and the other will be on the other channel. You could go to it on YouTube if your favorite team is not being shown.
Men's semis is set. Durant Mitchell against Hughes Powers. I think they've met since the Nationals last year. No, they played last year, I believe, in this was here, but it was right before that where Hughes Powers actually took the match the last time they played. So that'll be interesting. And they got Araya Parsons against hometown favorites of Dorian Burish.
I believe it's 3-2, Shea Sutter, Brad. Is that correct?
I believe it is that. Get a confirmation.
We just got the confirmation from our umpire, Carol Everton. Sorry, Carol.
She confirmed it, 3-2. Yeah, this is great. That was a huge, huge game for Delmonico Gebbia.
This is Delmonico serving. We've often talked about her percentages of holds. When she's the server, her team has really high success rate. One of the most consistent, well-placed serves in the women's game.
Wow. Those hands.
Go! Go! I go. Go.
Nope.
All right. And this is huge. If they're playing so tough now, they're really competing so hard. And this is the moment, right? You throw in one or two of those. That's just a loose error, right? From Shea. We haven't seen many from Shea and Sutter. Now it's time for Debbie and Delmonico to capitalize.
Is that Shea's second unforced error in this match?
There have been very few. Yeah, the last game, she made a crucial shot error when she tried to hit like a winning roll or volley, and I understand her going for that. But it was big in the game, right? It led to a break point, led to the break of serve.
And the temperature definitely factored in, because on a cold day, you would just drop shot that ball. You wouldn't even consider taking a wild swing on it. Warmer day, she's got to think, oh, if I hit it, I have to get it into 2 screens so I don't get crushed.
Monaco goes for the drop on her heels there. She likes to be unpredictable. That was a tough spot. I just think it's too warm for that today.
Too early in the point. I think Shea was all over it, even if it had gone over.
Yeah, I think she was all over it. And I think part of that's just the weather too, Patty, as we were talking about. It's, it's really warm out there. Rubber core ball reacts to the heat. It's going to not die. What a mop.
Great spot. Always love it when you get both players on the other team to swing at the ball.
3:15. Out. Great rip. She pulls that off the left hip of Delmonico, forces the air. Well spotted drive. She basically flared her first 4 forehands, but she's dialing it in now. A lot of great shots with it. Sutter, we were talking before about the forehand backhand, but I think she's only hit 2 backhands the entire match. So.
Yep, it's not really been significant.
Yeah, it's not.
So far.
She's definitely not looking to set it up. So feels supremely confident.
I think the ball was called out. I think Delmonico Gabriel clearly thought the ball was good.
Yeah, I think that's what she's arguing.
Everton made the immediate call as the umpire.
Yep. And it should be break point here. I think it's 30-40. Another well spotted drive there. Sticking it.
That's the spot.
Oh,
She just picks that middle.
Great hands, though. And it was a good look and a good move. Had so many deuce games here, Patty. Like just balls here, ball there. What a move. Oh!
Great hands from Sutter.
I mean, incredible recognition, too. She's got Gebbie off the net. She hits a little dink roll drive. Boom, right in behind it. And, just
really smart
done.
combination of shots, Brad.
Now, when you were playing, you had mentioned before, Sydney Pendergrass, your old partner, and who, by the way, is just one of the most amazing people in the world, too. She has an amazing forehand. She would hit that ball down. Would you blitz behind her return some of the time?
For sure. Set play. You rip, I'll run.
You rip, I run. Very nice.
But we'd also pick a spot so I had a heads up, so I could anticipate and look good where the volley was coming from versus random shots. It's definitely good to work with your partner knowing where they're going to spot their drives.
Yeah, and then you could follow the path of where the ball's going to go, right, and move yourself into the most likely return spot. It's a huge part. So you're talking about a play in the exact opposite way. We always see players put their hand behind their back, serve it wide, or I'm staying, I'm going. But as a returner, you have just as much of the same opportunity if you can strike that first ball well. I'm spotting it here, you're going to move to this spot, and you're going to pick it off.
I'd love to see Gebbie go down the line with that ball.
That's a great shot there.
Yeah, Shea didn't close. They were really far off the net, right inside the service line there, and Delmonico Gebbie were able to capitalize.
Wow.
Sutter did a good job closing off the middle, Brad, there on Gebbie's drive.
Yeah, they've just done a really good job shutting down so many of the points. That's called wide.
Just wide. Sutter had, what a good look. She almost made it.
It's love 30, I think. Wow.
What a pickup, Brad.
That was a great pickup. Good job not to lose the point there and just stay in it, transition back. Great stuff.
Brad, the other semifinal between Hanish and Zabori and Andreikova Curtis. We have they've split set. Curtis and Andreikova just won the second set. Not sure of the score. Headed to a third.
Wow. Good for them. They're great ball strikers. Curtis, one of the prettiest ball strikers on the tour.
Andreikova, former national champ with Nicolescu.
That's a great matchup.
Comfortable playing against Sabori and Hanish. They practice with them. They're super comfortable. No intimidation factor. And of course, Andreikova made it to the finals, I believe, at the Witch tournament earlier in the season, Brad.
Yep.
Strong team.
Very strong team. And they're kind of almost playing with house money. You know, Hanish Zabori have been dominating the tour. You could play loose, you know. Oh, who do you lose to? Oh, Hanish Zabori. Oh, well, you know.
Right.
Right. You know, nobody's going to be like, you know, so you're playing with house money because you're always the underdog when you're playing to Hanish Zabori pretty much.
Brad, I was betting with house money, just so you know, going into this match.
I'm sure Sandy's not happy with that. You gotta leave the money in the cookie jar where it's supposed to be, the grocery money.
Yeah, he's gonna have to curb my betting.
All right, so 4-3 now, Shea and Sutter. And Domenico Gebbia have done a great job working themselves into this match. And it's been extremely entertaining. You know, a lot of back and forth, great hands from Shea and Sutter. Domenico Gebbia battling. We've had deuce game after deuce game. And it's really come down. But we all know every match that's 6-4, 6-4 comes down to, you know, how many points would you say, Patty?
2 points, Brad.
Yeah, maybe a couple points a set. You know, and that's what it comes down to, right? You know, this match is extremely close. Any little glitch from any of the players now, loose error, this and that, that's going to be the margin for either the comeback for Domenico Gebbia or, you know, for Shea Sutter. I mean, on balance, Shea Sutter, since they've been down 2-0, just played a point better or two, you know, making one more volley. They've been under tremendous pressure. This has been a huge factor in the game. This service game, the fourth game, yes, has been a huge factor in the match. They're getting more opportunity, Shea and Sutter, in this particular game. And they've in general capitalized. Ooh, but that's what it's going to do. You get an error here, an error there, things can change.
Domenico, just a huge sigh of relief.
Well, that's the one thing about driving down the line, right? The net's a little higher, so puts it right in the tape. If that thing's on the middle, that could be a Lecord winner.
But against Domenico, I love the play to keep her honest because you know she's looking to move at the net. Kind of like Nicolescu, who moves more than anyone at the net. You've got to keep her honest and go down the line.
Yeah, and talking about the strength of the field here at Short Hills, I mean, once again, you had Hanish Zabori taking on Anika and Nicolescu, which easily could be, you know, the second-seeded team in this tournament.
Yes.
You know, but they just haven't played. And they had match point down against them in Boston, but came back to win. You know, they're just so gritty, Hanish Zabori, but they had to play them in the quarterfinals this game.
Right, Nicolescu and Anika just jumped into the field the second half of the season. Anika had some injuries, and Nicolescu played with Liz Cruz last year, and Liz just had her third little baby, and so these gals have paired up for the second half of the season here. So I think Anika and Nicolescu, as we saw from that amazing final in Boston, they're the real deal. Just a little unfortunate they haven't accumulated enough ranking points to not face one of the top 4 teams before the quarters.
So a break point here, and Gebbia just having to come up because she's back all the time with a lot of screen drives, and that one was really well placed into the corner. Oh, that's tough. Nicely played there from Gebbia.
They were lucky. This point is still going on. Gebbia, you know, has to throw up a little higher
lob.
lob.
Oh, miscommunication. A little feint there from Domenico, and serving for the match now, Shea and Sutter.
Yep, and here comes Sutter. She's been rock solid, we've said, throughout this match, and no reason to think that she can't hold serve to close this out. I believe it's 5-3.
Yep.
The scoreboard says 4-3. It's going to be 5-3 any second. We should.
All right, so love 30 here. It's 5-3 for Shea and Sutter. And big return there from Delmonico. Catches Shea off the net. So love 30, 5-3. And you got. Oh, long. So love 40 now. A couple loose errors, but nice game here. And
just when I say they
Sutter staying
thought
back
she'd hold
in this
serve,
game.
no issue.
Let's see if she tries to venture forward here. They're playing a little bit of a passive game here. It's interesting.
Why would they stay back, Brad? She's held serve.
She's done a good job with the first volley. On balance, other than those first couple of games for the match. No, they've been passive in this game. It's a little strange. They've been playing up in the face of Delmonico and Gebbia, not afraid of anything. Called out. All right,
wow,
so 5-4. It ain't done yet.
Amazing. Fast break. Delmonico Gebbia, stay alive, as Jeff Morneau would say. Shade Sutter up 5-4, second set. They won their first set, as you can see, 6-2.
All right, we'll check and see if we get a little of the other semifinal if this match does end. We'll see on that. We do have men's semifinals coming up at 3:30, so I guess it all depends on timing. And everything, I think, is getting pushed back based on the quality of play and the length from the matches, Patty. Been amazing stuff. Yep, just a great rip there. Love 15. Delmonico trying to get the ball towards the crease, really trying to create a ball that's going to kind of move quickly, make it hard for the backcourt team. But it's not easy to find. But you do notice there's certain players who really have it honed in. I would say Amy Shea is actually one of those players. On the women's tour, a person who's going to hit into the net, Amy Shea, Gabby Nicolescu with her roller. And it's such a crucial moment because when teams dial it into that defensive backcourt mode, if you can find that crease, that nick, it's a way to win points from back there. All right, so we're not going to have, based on the schedule of all the matches and the play that needs to continue on, if this match does finish, we are going to close off our live stream here and come back with the men's semifinals soon thereafter. But you can still watch the other semifinal on the other YouTube channel. It just won't be live streamed without the commentary.
They don't get to listen to you, Brad.
I was thinking the same thing about listening to you, Patty.
I said it first.
Always love having you in my headphones.
Love
Hope that didn't sound creepy at all.
Not at all.
Not at all. There you go. Yeah, so like we said, we're going to be live streaming all night. Oh, and that's just a huge return.
Great rip. Delmonico flipped her paddle over, couldn't come up with that little forehand volley.
All right. This is it.
3 match points for Shea and Sutter.
Probing drive there from Shea. Oh, good ball. You can see Shea playing careful drives now. I'd like to, that's what I want to see them do. Make them win this point, Shea and Sutter. Make them win it. They're feeling the pressure here, actually. You see the point tighten up. Every player sort of recognizing this is match point. Patty, you're talking about this being a huge match for Delmonico and Gebbia, but I think it's a huge match for Shea and Sutter. You know, and there it is, game, set, and match. I think they have to be considered as a team who can definitely make a, look, Hanish and Bori are going to be the #1 seeds no matter what, right? And, but they're definitely in there in the mix. And Sutter, she put with a lot of moxie. She was up there. She missed her first 4 or 5 forehands, then she started ripping the ball. I mean, they look good out there. Yeah,
they look phenomenal, Brad. I was so impressed by Sutter's play. Her choice of overheads, I thought, neutralized what Delmonico could do on both sides. And, they've earned a berth in the finals. They earned it.
Well, an incredible victory. They were down 2-0 and a quick start, but then turned it around, I believe, 8 games in a row for Shea and Sutter. And they're moving on 6-2, 6-4 into the women's final. Coming right up, we'll have men's semifinals. Just check on your screen there. We'll have a little countdown for you. And Patty, that's a wrap for the women's semifinals.
Thanks, Brad.
Batman.